My name is Veton. I'm 25 years old. I'm an aviator from Kosovo, as Mimi so well said. I'd like to share my story with you, my life story today, my few achievements here and there that I have, and of course the many challenges that I've had in my 25 years of life in my journey towards becoming a successful aviator of Kosovo and beyond, perhaps. But before I do that, I would like to introduce a short movie that I've made for you. Perhaps the IT people will help me. This is if I go back to how this happened, I'd have to get back to when I was only a 5-year-old kid, little chubby kid, 5 years old, who wanted to be a pilot. I must emphasize that I come from a modest family where both parents work in the mining industry. So nobody in the family ever did aviation, not even in the society. So I had no idea anything about aviation. But I still had this dream, you know? It was only a dream. I wanted to be a pilot. So I said, I'm going to chase this dream. And afterwards, as I grew up, I kept chasing the dream, but I wasn't having much success, really. I had gone to late teen years, and I still haven't had even my first flight as a passenger. That's horrible. Aviation-wise, speaking, for an aviation career anyway. But I said to myself, I can still do this, you know? When I finished the primary school, I afterwards had the option of going to 3 high schools. I applied in 3 high schools in Pristina. One of them was a gymnasium. Another one was branch of languages. And last but not least, the technical high school, which was branch of civil aviation. No surprise, I ditched the other 2, and I went for the civil aviation. First year of high school was very interesting because this was civil aviation branch, but actually we were learning history about Skanderbeg. So first year wasn't so successful. However, it got better afterwards because year 2, 3, and 4, we actually started learning about aviation and the basics of civil aviation. And then it continued with us doing, we were just one group of youngsters learning about civil aviation, and we started doing internship at Pristina's International Airport as well. That was a wonderful time, which gave me the basics of civil aviation, where I learned what an aircraft actually is, you know. But I was still learning about it on the notebooks, writing about it, but actually I had never flown before, so there were actually many people who were joking with me, saying like, haha, you pilot, never. And I just looked at them and I said, actually, I'll manage, we'll see. So I kept going with my dream, and 2007, there was a guy named David Bilcliffe, who was in Kosovo at the time working for the USAID. Aviation expert, came to hold a lecture at the technical high school. He was the first and only pilot that I had ever seen, and he represented everything that I wanted to become when I grew up and became hopefully successful, as was my dream. So after that, I got motivated. This was when this gentleman introduced the concept of air cadets to me. So what is the concept of air cadets? The concept of air cadets is a mindset, a civil aviation mindset that will be embedded into young people from the age of 13 to 21. In order to encourage them and motivate them to be successful in their future aviation careers. However, that's not all about it. There's much more to air cadets than just aviation. There are many famous people who were air cadets, especially in the UK, like Lord Robertson, that many of you will know from the time of 1999, hero for us in Kosovo, who helped us so much. He was an air cadet, but actually he ended up being ex-Secretary General of NATO, nothing to do with aviation, to be honest. Then there was Lord Hutton, even Tony Blair's children. He has 4 kids, 3 of his kids are air cadets. And this is not something like for very wealthy people or very posh people where they send these cadets or children to their relevant air cadet schools. Actually, this is about community-based and encouraging the youth to do something good for the community and learn at the same time as well. So what happened was that I really liked this idea and I said, we've got to do this back at home. So I went from having a dream of becoming a pilot to actually having an aim and having a plan of how I will become a pilot. And I will pave the way not just for myself, but actually for the generations to come in my country, perhaps even spread that out to a neighboring country. No surprise, the neighboring country was Albania. You will see the Federation of Air Sports of Albania there alongside with AirCadets Kosova. That's partly because we have been working over the years for a very important aviation-minded project, not only in Kosovo, but also in Albania, in order to deliver the next generation of aviation professionals. And not only that, but actually provide a training program for the youth, 13 to 21 years old, so that we prepare them for future successful adult lives. And that's me in 2009. This is a Viking T1 glider, 2-seater glider, no engine, flies without an engine. And this was when I was selected in 2009 by the UK RAF Air Cadets as the first and only aviation ambassador of the Republic of Kosovo, as well as, thank you, as well as I was awarded gliding scholarships for basic gliding training first. After I passed that, and this was, I will never forget that day, I had my first solo, 27th of August, 2:39, British summertime, 7-minute flight. Seemed like an entire eternity. It was just like, I was afraid. I survived it, nonetheless. It was a 7-minute flight that proved to me that I could actually achieve this. I finally had flown solo. I had control of the aircraft. And by that, I had control of my life. I was 19 years old. You see how skinny I was anyway. So what we did afterwards, we said, well, there's an expression in Albanian. I will say it in Albanian not to mix the translation anyway. Not that I'm a flower, but yeah, you get the point anyway. So we said we need more young people to engage with this Air Cadets concept because it's so nice and so good for the young people. It motivates people. Imagine if you get a 16-year-old, this is what they do in the UK, they get a 16-year-old who is very motivated, very hardworking, they give them a gliding scholarship. At 16 years old, that 16-year-old girl or boy is going to be flying that aircraft on their own. Initially, that's a scary thought. However, this is the concept and the professionalism that they have and that this Air Cadets mechanism provides, that they will be successful. They will land that aircraft. I mean, if I could do it, hey. A 16-year-old who has control of the aircraft and manages to fly solo at 16, you try telling them that they can't achieve something. They will tell you to bugger off, because they can achieve anything, because they will be motivated. And I think that's very important. That's what we want. We want a youth that is motivated. In the end, a flight or a launch with this glider, there's no engine, is like crazy cheap. It's less than €5, so that's the equivalent of what a coffee and a small pack of cigarettes. Rather than have our 16 years old smoking and having coffee, you could actually put them in an aircraft upside down. Amazing. And that's how you motivate them. And then they go on to become successful leaders of the next generation. You see, again, very skinny. However, this is number 10 Downing Street. This is when I was an aviation ambassador to the UK, and I was invited to the UK Prime Minister's residence. 2010, every year after I had flown solo, I had a highlight. A highlight as in an achievement that I had managed to get that one step closer to becoming a successful Kosovar Albanian aviator. So what happened, we initiated a project of AirCadets in Kosovo in 2009, and afterwards we said, well, hey, let's try and spread this out. And of course, Albania, as I said, was a natural choice. You will see this was a delegation, that's me, not as skinny anymore, you see, but hey-ho. In 2011, we were awarded a very special opportunity from the President of the Republic of Ireland. There's the three of us, again, that we went gliding together and did the scholarships. So we went back home very motivated, kept working very hard, and what happened, somehow, I don't know how it happened, but it did, we got an invitation from the President of the Republic of Ireland to engage in the Goshke Award, which is a President's Award for the Irish young people to motivate them to challenge themselves. So you do it's like the, AKA the Duke of Edinburgh's award or the international award. You challenge yourself to achieve something within 60 weeks. If you're successful, you get to meet the president and have a gold certificate from the president. In this case, the President of the Republic of Ireland. Hopefully, I will see him in a few months' time. 2013, Department of Defense, as you will see. This is the Pentagon. I was invited at the Pentagon, 24 years old. Hopefully, and I'm really proud of this, the youngest Kosovar Albanian to have been there. As this adventure continued, I kept pushing and pushing, and in the end, and this is just a few weeks ago, I was invited for further training in the UK with RAF Air Cadets. This is the Air Commodore, one-star general, awarding me during the graduation ceremony the official certificate for graduating successfully at RAF College Cranwell, the pilot officer training. That's me and my instructor flying. You see, I'm very proudly wearing the Kosovar flag. Love that flag. One of the things that is very important for us and having gliding back in our country is that it engages with young people in a teamwork environment. We have, in order to launch this glider, it's a two-seater glider, so you have two pilots inside, and then you have about 5 or 6 other people making sure that you actually launch with the glider. So you need teamwork. The pilots can't do it themselves. There's no engine. So you need, imagine we have a multi-ethnic country in Kosovo. You have like an Albanian and a Serbian in the aircraft, young people, 16 years old. There's another member of the community or ethnicity holding the wing. The other one is pulling the aircraft. The other one's doing the navigation bits. And you have everyone engaging and actually putting the life on the other person's hands. So what happens is, I will ask you a question now. It's not a hard question. If they do this at 16, after 10 years when they are 26, will they be enemies or will they be friends forever? No surprise, they will be friends forever. That's what we want. We have a multi-ethnic state. But as I said, Air Cadets is not just about gliding, it's about much more, motivating the youth so that you have a healthy, successful, younger generation coming in. In the UK, for example, this was formed in 1941. They have 45,000 Air Cadets every year, comprising of 10,000 volunteers, adult staff, and 5,000 civilian fundraisers. Every cadet of these 45,000 gets to fly at least once in a year. And that's how they encourage and inspire the young generation, who eventually they get to be either pilots or air traffic controllers, or either like Lord Hutton or Lord Robertson and so forth. But having said that, what I would like to emphasize is the importance and the focus, the drive that this concept has given to me in order to push, not to just achieve for myself, but also to achieve so that I can pave the way for others. I've had so many challenges, and I said that I will speak about the challenges, so here I am. I was 18 years old when my parents bought my first car for me, ever, and it was a Yugo. How many of you know what a Yugo car is? Raise your hands. Okay, there we go. So you know that it will do 100 kilometers per hour eventually. All right, so it's not very fast. And I wanted to be a pilot, so I had like this very slow car. Eventually, no surprise, it broke down. I sent it to the mechanic, and he says to me, well, we've got to fix it, but what's this on the side of the car? And I said, oh, I spray painted an aircraft because I'm a pilot. And he says, you, with a Yugo, pilot? No. And I had to actually show him a photo before he was to believe me. The bottom line being, this concept motivated me so much, and I work, over the years, I've been working, I have like 3-4 jobs at the same time. Like I haven't slept in 36 hours or something right now. I work so much, but I'm so full of energy because I'm doing what I like doing. I'm here presenting to you about aviation and sharing my story. That's what I want. I am an aviator, and I don't want to be the first and only one. I want to be the first and among the many others to come. So if I had a message for the youth and the many other young aviators coming, that would be to never ever give up. In order to be successful in aviation, at least as far as I can tell, is that you need tenacity, you need hard work, you need to be very committed. And even though everybody will tell you, you can't make it, you know, you don't look like a pilot, you couldn't be, you just keep pushing because you'll manage. You'll manage. Dare to dream and will to win. In the end, the RAF in the end, the Royal Air Force motto is in Latin, that's per ardua ad astra. In English, that's through adversity to the stars. In Albanian, that's per mes vështirësive do t'i arrim yjet. And I believe we can achieve that. Thanks very much.